I initially got in contact with Devine when I was living in New South Wales last year with work, and noticed that there was some really good house and land packages happening in Adelaide. And I found out I was moving back to Adelaide and wanted to get into the market, and saw the prices were really reasonable. So I called up Devine, just made some inquiries, and the initial estate that I wanted to buy into was sold out. And within a week, one of the places came back on the market, and Devine gave me a call and said, "Hey, you still interested?" And so I said, "Yep, no worries." So whilst interstate, signed on for a house and land package in May last year, and by September the slab had already been poured. Things moved around pretty fast, and by February this year I was already moved in. So I was cheering. Having never owned or built a house before, I had no idea what I was actually supposed to do or what the first step is, or I found a place I like, what now? And so I got a lot of help there, not just with finding out what the place consisted of, but actually how to go about buying it. If there's one word to describe the process of building with Devine, that'd be smooth. It was a really smooth process, and no worries, no hidden costs, fixed price on everything. So yeah, very smooth. When I did the figures on the cost of actually a mortgage versus renting, I was looking at almost exactly the same costs. Now my weekly mortgage repayments are pretty much the same as what I'd be paying in rent, and so I thought I can't go wrong with that. The advantages between owning your own place and renting are pretty obvious, just because paying money into your own place means that you're paying off a mortgage, you're paying off something that's hopefully going to gain equity over time, and that you can then turn around and use it as an investment. I guess in essence I'm providing myself with a future by starting now, by paying a mortgage now, having my own place, and hopefully down the track keep building on that. I could say on average most of my friends are paying at least around the $300 a week mark for rent, and I'm paying $288 a week for a mortgage, and some of my friends can't actually believe that I pay so little in a mortgage. Pretty much I'm paying less for a mortgage than what I would probably be paying in rent, and in 10 years time, what might now seem like a big mortgage in 10 years time might seem like nothing. And so I think I have to look ahead and take the perspective that over time what once seemed like a really large amount of money is going to seem like a lot less. House will go up in value, yet mortgage repayments stay the same. I was speaking to one of my mates just the other day, and he was looking for a new rental place, and he told me how much he was looking at paying, and I said, "Why don't you just buy?" And he said, "Oh, I didn't think I could afford to do that." And I told him how much I was paying, and he was surprised because he hadn't actually looked into it, and he had this assumption that paying a mortgage was enormous and out of reach, and something you can only do when you're making like a six-figure salary. And yeah, he was pretty surprised. Devine's a good company because they offer good value and fast build time. My customer service rep was awesome. She was really friendly and more than willing to show me the ins and outs of buying a place, building a place. Dealing with Devine one-on-one was easy, wasn't confrontational, and they weren't there trying to immediately figure out, do you have a huge amount of money, and if not, we're just gonna not pay any attention to you. Everyone has to make the jump from renting to owning at some point, or else you simply stay set in that path. It's fairly simple, and I think the higher the rent you pay, like for instance as rent keeps going up, unless your income matches the increases that you find in rent, then being able to own a place becomes further and further out of hand and less achievable. That's honestly what I would tell any of my mates that could actually afford to do it is, yeah, jump on early, because once you get really stuck on a long rent cycle, it's hard to come out of it. It's hard, while you're paying rent, to then also be able to be saving enough money to save up to buy a house. It's a milestone in your life, and for me, as a young guy, owning my own house was a milestone, and being able to wake up in my bed in my own place was a good feeling. It's it marks a really good point in my life.